Now, let's talk about the state of play in Congress and what this means for your best interests. California member of Congress, Democrat Bera, today penned a letter with more than 60 Democratic members of Congress urging Schumer to vote against the government funding bill, even accused him of capitulating to Trump. And Republican member of Congress from Tennessee, Tim Burchett. Good to have you both. I'm getting a call from the president right now. No, I'm not. So, thank you for being with us. Why would you prefer a shutdown to what is in there right now?
Well, first off, I'm glad to be on with Tim. He's a good friend, and we serve together admirably. Nobody wants a shutdown. It's never good for and a continuing resolution. I think Tim would agree with me. Is not a good way to run the government either. So I'm going to come on your show and say, Tim and I ought to work together to figure out how do we lower the debt, the deficit, get spending under control, and also raise revenue. I supported Simpson-Bowles. Back in the day, President Obama didn't want to bring it to the floor. If we want to fix this, it's going to take Democrats and Republicans having a Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid moment where we jump off the cliff together and everyone's mad at us, but we did the right thing.
They both died.
Yeah, I know. Tim's
they both died, by the way, Ami. They both died, by the way.
Well, just they didn't die.
You may want to architect a different ending.
They didn't die in that jump. So.
Listen, Ami, I'm with you. I'm just saying that I see this as posturing and brinksmanship. If they don't vote for it, then what's going to happen?
Look,
you think you're going to cut a deal?
I mean, it's a negotiation. I would have preferred doing a 30-day clean CR. This isn't totally a clean CR. I understand, Senator Schumer had to make a decision. It's a Sophie's choice. I would have continued to negotiate, but again, I'll give the Freedom Caucus and folks like Tim credit because when they faced a similar choice, they've stuck to their guns and, often they'll win the negotiation.
Right. I mean, look, from Schumer's, just for the political shorthand, and Tim, it's good to see you. Thanks for wearing that Tennessee orange. Schumer doesn't have that choice. He's not in control of the negotiation pace. The Republicans didn't want to do it. So he would have to just own the shutdown. Tim, what is your perspective on this epidemic of CRs and your brothers and sisters just kicking the can down the road because they don't have whatever it takes to get 12 appropriation bills done?
Well, thank you for having me on, Chris. And clearly when ZZ Top sang their hit song, Every Girl's Crazy About a Sharp-Dressed Man, they were talking about Ami. He's always looking good. He's always got the vest on. And
he looks good. He wins tonight. He wins.
I'm glad my wife's not watching this, or she's like, honey, we need to get you a vest. But anyway, no, I'm the last, I guess I'm the very last congressman, I think President Trump told me, or somebody did, maybe the speaker, that has not voted for a CR. I think it's a cop-out. It's a terrible way to run. My only reason for voting for it, and you were correct, that it is basically Pelosi and Schumer's budget. They moved some money around. They cut some from the IRS and gave a little more to the war pimps at the Pentagon, which I don't like. But the reason is because they did not increase the size of government. They actually decreased. If you take in, it was actually about a $6 or $8 billion cut, which in Tennessee terms is a lot of money, but for you big city boys, that's not a heck of a lot of money. And I thought it was a good time to start thinking about slowing the size of government down.
So how are you celebrating voting for your first CR?
Well, I'm actually working on a skateboard. Tulsi Gabbard reminded me at the president's speech that her birthday was next month, and I've been promising her a bamboo skateboard. I'm trying to not use any carcinogens in it. It's a new process that I work on after work and late at night when I get up early in the morning. So you heard it first here.
Ami, you hear this guy? You can't find a way to outsmart this guy and figure out how to get a deal done. And you don't deserve that vest
people
that you're wearing.
Careers, underestimating me, brother. That's
not me.
I don't come in his sandbox, and he doesn't come in mine.
I was an early adapter to the Burchett love affair, okay? I've had you on from jump here at NewsNation because you're a fair broker. But, Ami, I'll tell you, look, what bothers me about this is it would be different if your CRs had been different, okay? But this is moving some money around. It does not assault Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. I don't think you guys are wrong to suggest that there are members of the Republican caucus that want to do that, but it's not done in this. So why are people in your party screaming that it is?
I mean, because I think there's concerns about the negotiating piece of this. The bigger fight's coming up in reconciliation. Again, Tim is an honest broker, and that's why I appreciate him. I know where he stands. He's going to tell you how he feels. You talked about civility, radical civility. We ought to sit down and say, okay, we've got to get spending under control. How can we do this in a way that doesn't hurt the American public? Tim talked about raising defense spending. That's $6 billion. I'd rather actually get better schools. I'd rather build better roads. I'd rather do some things differently. Pay down the deficit. So there's things we could do. I actually don't think we're that our parties are very far apart, our leadership's far apart, but put some folks in a room, say, what do we do that's right for the American public? How do we do right by them? And I think we can get a lot done.
Yeah,
Ami, I appreciate you.
I shouldn't say this, Chris, but let me say something that offends my friend. The Democrats use the carrot and the stick much more effective than we do. And he's under a lot of pressure, and he's a principled guy. And I'll just leave it at that because, we're kind of on our side is a little free range, more or less. And I'm not a member of the Freedom Caucus. I'm like a caucus of one. I told Jim Jordan, you get me for free. I vote more conservative than your members, and you don't have to buy me a chicken dinner, and I don't get a decoder ring. So there you go.
It's hard to dislike him, isn't it, Ami? I've been trying for 2.5 years. Thank you both for coming on together.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Always.
I will,
have a great
and I'll tell you what, my audience appreciates nothing more than proof of the proposition that left and right can come together and talk about what's reasonable. And it's a low bar, but I'll take it. And I appreciate you two for getting us over it. Tim, God bless and have a good weekend. Ami, you're always welcome here.
God bless you as well.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.